Boogeyman is the name that is responsible for countless nightmares, and in some cases, trauma for many children growing up. It's a popular mythical creature in traditional folklore that many parents used to scare their kids with back in the day. Boogeyman has various interpretations, including the fact that it becomes invisible by drinking water, or that it's the wandering soul of a boy that was lynched due to misbehaving with his parents and now eats children who do not behave. But one thing is certain, all interpretations of the Boogeyman are beyond terrifying. Boogeyman folklore can also be found in other cultures and has also made appearances in entertainment and media. Let's dig into the reality of the Boogeyman and where this urban legend came from. The Boogeyman is a mythical creature whose name has been used to discipline children for centuries. The mythical creature was used to scare children into thinking that if they don't act the way their parents want, then the creature, the Boogeyman, will take them with him. Boogeyman was also used to scare children from going into dark and abandoned places alone, as it would harm them. This mythical creature isn't just a character in a storybook, but has its own unique origin, which dates back to the 15th century. Even though the mythical creature is said to be older than that, the word boogeyman originated somewhere in the 16th century from the Middle English word boogie or buggy, which means frightening thing. The word is also related to the Welsh folklore word bwgan, which basically means a goblin or an evil spirit. In England, the boogeyman was known as the booger, which also referred to a goblin or a demon. It's believed that the boogeyman originated in Scotland and then became popular in many cultures and regions. The hauntings of the boogeyman can be traced in many cultures and are described as an entity that is aggressive and harmful towards children that do not listen to their parents. The boogeyman is considered a creature that hides in dark spots like closets and behind closed doors, and the most common spot for its hideout is under the bed. Parents used to scare their children by saying phrases like, "Don't do this or the boogeyman will get you," or "Don't go there alone or the boogeyman will take you with him." And what's truly scary about the boogeyman is the fact that in the minds of children, this mythical creature was capable of doing the most harm in unimaginable ways. There are multiple descriptions of this terrifying mythical creature. In some cultures, the boogeyman is just a shapeless dark figure that hides in the dark and can even change its shape and appear in other forms as well. The most common depiction of the mythical creature is that it has sharp teeth, talons, and claws that it uses to attack its prey and even eat them alive. Some even associate the boogeyman with a form of the devil itself and describe it as having features like horns similar to those of the devil. Boogeyman is also depicted as an animal-like hairy creature that has eyes that glow in the dark where it usually resides, and long nails with which it scratches the closet doors to scare its victim. Boogeyman can also be traced in other cultures, with the same perspective but a different name. In German, the boogeyman is referred to as Bootsman, which is described as a dark, faceless entity that hides within closets, under beds, and in dark spots. Bootsman is believed to attack children who stay past their bedtime. In Spain, the boogeyman is called Hombre del Saco, also known as the Sack Man, and is depicted as an ugly and terrifying-looking man that kidnaps naughty children and takes them away in a sack. It was believed that the Sack Man either eats his victims or just sells them off to bad men. In Japan, Oga Peninsula refers to a bad spirit that waits until New Year's Eve and harms and takes away children that have been bad throughout the year. Another more terrifying depiction of the boogeyman is South Africa's Tokoloshi. It is by far the most bizarre depiction of the boogeyman and is described as an evil spirit that becomes invisible by drinking water. Tokoloshi is a more aggressive form of entity that kills its victims in their sleep. The Tokoloshi was also used to scare children with the aim of disciplining them. In Egyptian folklore, there's a boogeyman called Abu Rigel Masluka, which translates to a man with burnt legs. This is yet another mythical creature that parents tell their children to scare them. According to traditional stories, Abu Rigel Masluka is a monster that was burned alive because he didn't obey his parents. Abu Rigel Masluka grabs naughty children and eats them. These show that the mythical creature boogeyman has been around for quite a while in different cultures. The mythical creature has existed for centuries in many forms. Could it be possible that the boogeyman has something to do with reality? The boogeyman has become a well-known cultural figure thanks to its prominent use in literature, movies, and television. It's been used in countless horror stories, children's tales, and urban legends for generations to scare kids into behaving. It's also been a common motif in popular culture, making appearances in films such as The Babadook, 2005's The Boogeyman, and Nightmare on Elm Street. The 2023 movie The Boogeyman is heavily inspired by one of the most renowned writers, Stephen King, and his book, The Night Shift. This book features 20 short stories, including one called The Boogeyman. The Night Shift short story, The Boogeyman, is a unique piece of art that is terrifying but captivating at the same time. The story features a father of 3 murdered children sharing his guilt and fear with a psychiatrist about the deaths of his children. He mentions to the psychiatrist that before each death, his children would scream the name Boogeyman and would die a painful death. After the deaths of his 2 children, the man shifted to a different location to get away from the Boogeyman. But even after changing his house, the Boogeyman had traced his new residence as well. The man shared that he feared the Boogeyman so much that he wasn't able to save his last child when he saw the Boogeyman attacking him and running away. While talking about this with the psychiatrist, the man uncovers a shocking truth and comes face to face with the Boogeyman. If you're enjoying the content so far, then consider liking the video and subscribing. Could it be that Stephen King was inspired by a real-life boogeyman? It could be possible that King's short story might be based on a real-life boogeyman named Albert Fish. Albert Fish, also known as the Boogeyman and the Gray Man, was a serial killer and child molester in the 1900s, causing terror throughout the United States. Fish was convicted on charges of multiple murders and cannibalism. Albert Fish brutally murdered his victims and would eat their remains to get away with it. Albert Fish was referred to as the Boogeyman because he had striking similarities in luring children and eating them. Fish was physically assaulted growing up in an orphanage, which completely disrupted his sanity. His sexual perversions got increasingly worse as he grew up, as he would desire to be tortured and whipped. His X-ray also showed that there were a huge number of needles within his pelvis, which made people question his sanity. Fish was accused of raping multiple boys and dismembering their bodies to fulfill his insane cannibalistic desires. Fish liked the image of being called the Boogeyman, and in one instance, while he was kidnapping 2 boys, one of which survived, upon being asked about the other, the boy replied, "The Boogeyman took him." This real-life boogeyman terrorized the United States so much that the popular tale of the boogeyman became once again popular, as parents would use the phrase "boogeyman" with Albert Fish in mind to stop their children from wandering alone in the streets or going to dark, isolated places alone. The boogeyman is a fascinating creature that has an immense impact on our culture and folklore. While its origin is debated, it's clear that the figure has been used for generations as a way to discipline children. While the boogeyman may cause fear and terror, it also serves to teach important life lessons and provide a sense of control and discipline over our behavior. That's it for today. What do you think about the tales of the boogeyman? Do you think that it was necessary to include such a terrifying mythical beast to scare children into doing good? Or was this method too traumatizing for little children? Let us know in the comments section below. Like if you found this video interesting, and we will see you guys soon with more strange and unusual horror stories. Till then, take care.